Well, good evening, my chosen friends, and welcome to Jen Cares, powered by Chosen Counselors. I'm your host, Jen Cares, and the founder of Chosen Counselors, a nonprofit organization that simply seeks to inspire, motivate, empower, and strengthen individuals and families. Whew. So, as always, thank you so very much to each and every one of you for tuning in, for liking, for sharing, for commenting. And I thank you for your words of encouragement that I get after, watching an episode or a text message that comes in and let me know I really needed to hear that, or that was great information, or can I have their number to call them back? I truly, truly thank you from the top, bottom, all of my heart, because I can't do it without people like you to be watching and telling me that it's working. So thank you. Whew. Special thanks to all of my chosen friends that were guests for the month of April. Dr. King, Dr. Farmer, Dr. Coles, Nurse Creamer. I'm still working on my Bahamas trip, y'all. But I'm hoping that you learned a lot from the More You Know series. I had a blast putting it on for you, and I hope, again, that you did learn something. So now it is time to grow. And speaking of growing, we are just a few days away from our Day of Empowerment, which will be held virtually on Saturday, May 15th. I will be giving away a ticket, maybe a couple tickets, because I have a couple more bonus tickets that I need to get rid of. So be sure to listen out for the key phrase of tonight, because you may win that ticket. But let's talk about what we're going to talk about tonight. Grow is the theme. Planting seeds is the topic. And May is Mental Health Month, so you already know. Mental health, mental wellness, we're going to talk about it. And as May has arrived, come on, flowers, okay? Today I saw a quote and it said, every flower must grow through dirt. And I love this quote because it also parallels with the quote that we have for tonight, which I'll share later. But life can bring some dirty situations, but it's in those moments that we grow. Seeds have to grow in dirt. I mean, it can go in water too, but most of the time, they grow in that dirt. And it's not comfortable all the time. It doesn't feel right all the time. It's just messy. But guess what? We can still grow. We could be put in a new pot. We may be cut. We may be watered. But it all starts with the seed. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We are the seed. I've been lied on. I've been cheated. I've been talked about, disregarded, played like Bobo the fool. And there's some people that have apologized, haven't apologized, some will never apologize, some that did apologize and still doing what they was doing before they apologized. But it's in these encounters, they all have a direct impact on our seeds, on us. We wonder, how will we move forward? Will I stay in this pot? Will I shrivel up and keep to myself? Will I go to various homes? It reminds me of that spider plant. The spider plant, I've given away so many of the babies. I'm hoping to keep the mother still alive downstairs. Y'all pray. I don't always have a green thumb. But there's times in our lives that we just keep on giving, keep on giving, keep on giving. And sometimes in these moments, we need to evaluate the seed. See, we are the initial seed, but life causes the seed to sometimes need more room. We may have to shy away from some areas. We may want to thrive, though, to get that supplement to stay alive. We are the seed, but guess what? We got to check on the root, because from the seed comes the root. And where are our roots going? How are our roots being affected by the environment that we're in? What part of the environment is affecting the seed? Tonight, we're going to talk about that. Oh, my goodness, it's going to be good, because all that we've been through, all that we're going through, we still have to keep going. Hence, we got to grow. Hence, planting seeds. We're going to talk about our seeds and our roots, because in spite of it, again, we got to keep going. So, chosen friends, I want us to keep growing. We have been through a lot. Some of us are still going through a lot, but hey, we got to keep on growing. And tonight I have my friend, Tiffany Harris, and we're going to talk about planting seeds. So y'all help me welcome my friend, Tiffany.
Hey, friend.
Hey, girl. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I can't complain. I'm so excited. I'm excited for tonight because as I was preparing earlier, I was like, I feel like I'm about to be a little bit more transparent than I want to be. But again, it's all about helping somebody else. And our seeds, our roots really do matter to help us to be the best version of ourselves. And I can't inspire somebody else, motivate somebody else without telling them the truth.
Yes.
Here we go.
Absolutely.
Here we go.
Yep.
Okay. So as always, we're going to start with our quote of the day. Dun, 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 dun. They buried us, but they didn't know we were seeds. I don't know how to say that baby name, but that baby said they buried us. But they didn't know we were seeds. What are your thoughts on that, Tiff?
I mean, I think it's amazing, right? Because sometimes there's things that happen in our lives where we feel like it's the end of the world for us, right? And we're never going to overcome it. We're never going to come back from it. And those are the things that can sometimes feel like they bury us, right? But the reality is that you can be the seed in your life, and you can create a beautiful change based on your choice.
Yes.
Right? You get to choose what you allow to bury you and what you choose to allow to give you life.
Yes. I like that. You get to choose what does bury you. You get to choose, am I going to stay under or am I going to come out? And I want us all to come out on top, to thrive and be the beautiful flowers that we were created to be.
Absolutely.
So, as always, friends, I prepared some questions to help guide tonight's topic. But if you have any questions, any thoughts, be sure to comment below, because this is a mutual conversation. Because again, our mental health matters. We're going to talk about those roots, those seeds to help us succeed so that we can grow. All right. So, Tiff, I always start us off with telling us a little bit about yourself. But since you've been here before, tell us what has been going on in your life and your business and things of that sort.
Lots have been going on in my life and my business. I actually have what started out as a t-shirt line, which is now turning into somewhat of a lifestyle brand. And it's called Therapist Tiff Says, the Healing Collection. And it was created in order to promote healing, self-care, and to kind of dispel some of those negative thoughts that we have in the Black community around therapy. And so right now, in the Healing Collection, we have t-shirts and coffee mugs and tea mugs. But later on this month, we'll have a package that will be available that will have a tea mug, some tea, a journal, and a candle. And that will be coming out at the end of this month. And then in June, we'll be having my bags that will be coming out. So there'll be a duffel bag and also a backpack. And all of these, items have sayings on them that were created by me in order to try to promote healing in our communities and mix them with fashion and fun.
Yes, because I can't wait to get my bag. But let's talk about this box with the tea and the candle. I like that because it's self-care. And why is self-care important?
Well, it's important because if you don't nurture yourself, then you'll be missing out on the things that you need, right? So sometimes we forget that we can soothe ourselves, that we can calm ourselves, that we can take care of ourselves. And so instead of putting that on someone else, it's important for you to care for yourself and use those self-care items and those self-care activities to help you to feel better.
Instead of putting it on somebody else. Oh, I want to pause there for a moment, because it's sometimes that we go through some things and others can't really help us and we get frustrated, we get irritated. But it's some things, if we make some little changes, we can find that change that we need to happen.
Right. Yeah. Because it's important to remember, like, we can't change other people. Right. As much as you can say things to them, as much as you can tell them, that you didn't like this or that, they may not change. Right. But you can change yourself and you can make some choices about how you want people in your life if they are not showing up in the way that you need them to.
Yes. And that's all about what we're going to be talking about tonight. I just pulled together some different words. Tiff was like, all right, so where are you going with this? We're just going to have some different words and how it impacts our seeds and our roots. We're going to find out how we can make changes to get out of some situations, how we could change our thinking. We used to call it stinking thinking, how to reframe our thoughts and beliefs to help us to get a better expected end. And I like that with my CBT fund, the cognitive piece of A, B, C, like A has to B and gets to C. How can we change our behavior and our attitude to get to the desired result that we want to have? So we're going to start from childhood, okay? Different things that have happened in our lives that affect the seed that me and you are today. So when I thought of childhood, the first thing that came to mind was the difference between two-parent, one-parent, foster care homes. What are some ways that can affect the seed? And we'll both just kind of like flow off each other.
Yeah. I was thinking about that earlier today. And I was really thinking about the fact that we all grow up in different types of homes, right? Like everybody has, their own family composition, right? But there are also times in our lives where your family composition changes throughout your life, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe for me, I grew up in a 2-parent household, but at one point my parents split. And so then they I had to go between both of those households, and so that changed over time, which also changed my perspective on what a family looks like and what family consists of, right? And so those things can also sow a different seed depending on what stage you're in your life, and also what happens in your family and how it impacts you, right?
Yes.
And then there's times where like you might grow up with just one parent, and then people have these perceptions of what that means for you, right? If you grew up in a single parent household, you lacked something. There wasn't enough love and care, maybe. Those are perceptions that I think people have sometimes, but reality is, just because I grew up in a single parent household doesn't mean any of those things. Right? I could feel that I got everything that I needed, but your perception of what I'm lacking then makes me question whether I really did feel like I got everything I needed.
So sometimes people's words could mess us up, because I am a product of a single parent household. My dad, disclaimer, this is Jennifer's opinion. Actually, no, this is Jennifer's life, Jennifer's story. God bless, your experience may have been different. Amen. Yes. My dad wasn't in the picture until I got grown and I reached out to pursue a relationship with him. However, with my mom, everything I needed, she was on, all the basics that I need to know: how to clean, how to cook, how to pay a bill, how to go to the bank, how to write a check, those things that you didn't necessarily learn at school, but you needed to know how to take care of a home type situation. Then God blessed me to have people come into my life to be a figure, to maybe stand in the gap, to be able to hold up her arms, to meet anything that maybe she didn't meet and things of that sort. So it's very important to, I'll never forget, I still did have a moment though growing up. I was like, well, they talk about their daddy, where my daddy at? And this is the part that I want to talk about when like planting seeds, because everybody's experience is different. What you see somebody else has doesn't mean you have to have. But too, that question also triggers something in me too, to ask, well, where is my father? Obviously a mother and a father has to make a baby. And things that sort. So how that causes me to like think in my mind of what is going on. So then that's a different conversation, I had with my mom. But those things can mess with your thoughts, can mess with your thinking. And this is important to have these conversations with our children. And even as adults, of why wasn't my mom around? Why wasn't my dad around? Oh, they were strung out. What does that mean? What does that look like? And even experiencing that, how that still affects somebody till today of, what's going on. Even my dad not being around, that still affects me sometimes today of, I think my thoughts towards the male species and things of that sort. I know that's not everybody, but what I'm saying is those seeds that were planted, the environment our seed was in causes us to go through these different experiences.
Yeah. And even think about when parents split and it's a difficult situation for them, right? And the information that they give to their children about why they split, about the other parent, about the blame on the other parent, those things plant seeds as well in terms of how you end up interacting with, understanding, and internalizing how or what caused the breakup of your family.
Let's stop right there with that blame piece. Now, I can 100% say my mom never talked bad about my dad. That's amazing. I have, however, heard some other people talk bad about their baby dads and baby moms and things of that sort. And when you say that, the children know. They say out of the mouth of babes. Children do pay attention and know some things. But we also want to be careful that we're not shifting their mental on who this person is. I'm always teased to be that person that wants to give the benefit of the doubt. They be like, all right, Jennifer, or they be like, all right, minister, or all right, Jennifer, benefit of the doubt and things of that sort. But I always also believe that just because my experience was bad doesn't mean that your experience was bad. Or if my experience was good, it's a possibility that your experience wouldn't be good. I mean, we could go to the same server at a restaurant and they'll be nice with you because they know you. To me, they like, all right. Or they're having a bad day and things. So I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, and we want to do that too with, which causes a cycle too, because what caused that dad to not be around? What caused that mom to not be around? What caused that mom to feel comfortable to say, he ain't no good, never gonna be no good, or him to say she's things of that sort. So really being careful of those cycles that one could get in when it comes to how we're communicating to our children and others about people.
Yeah. And even in those situations where maybe depending on the age of the child, you don't want the child to know why the parent is no longer there or why the parent couldn't show up, and you hold on to that as like a secret, right? And then it leaves the child to their own devices to make up the story as to why their parent is no longer there. And so you think that you're planting the seed in order to protect or shield them from something, when in reality you might be creating more of an issue for them.
Yes. And we specialize in talking about conversations too. So this came to mind, so I'm gonna throw it out there because that's what I do. Also having so many uncles come over.
Oh, yes.
And the baby ain't got no uncles. Or who does have uncles, but they're not really uncle. So just being careful of the traffic that you're having, because children pay attention to that too. Some people know how to wait till the kids are asleep, but them kids wake up and they see things. How do I know? Because I worked with the foster care and the child welfare system. These babies see things. They encounter things. So you have to just be careful. And they'll just tell you so much. I'm asking them if they feel safe where they are, and they're like, because mommy was doing blah, 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 blah. Dang, now I got to have a conversation with your mom. Hey, mom, you grown, do your thing. However, you got to be careful of what it is that you're exposing your children to. They're seeing you doing some engagements. They're saying some words, and then you're getting upset because you're in public and they cussing.
Right.
They heard you cuss. Where they learning from, So again, we have to be careful and mindful of what it is that we're doing, because we are creating the weeds around the seed of the plant, of the root that we don't want to be there. And then we're frustrated because we can't get it out, because that thing is so ingrained. Yeah. Because they've been seeing this day after day after day, and they think that that's okay to do.
Yeah. And then on the other hand, like what you were saying about how your mom kind of created a network of people around you that were able to kind of pick up where she wasn't able to give, or where your dad wasn't there to be able to give. Like those people, and creating those networks and environments and systems are really important for kids as they grow older, when they don't have, all of the traditional family experiences. One, because it gives them that support, but two, because it teaches them that you can create family based on how you want to, and including people that may not traditionally be a family system, but you can still create them as your family for yourself.
Yes. I got another one. I'm not sorry either. Because I also hear sometimes we're like, I don't have nobody. I want to talk about don't burn bridges. Because sometimes we are connected to this resource or network, and we burnt them too many times. We borrowed $5 too many times and then give them back, and then walking around with the finest of finest. We got to be careful of the things that we do. But again, this affects our seeds and roots, and then changes our perspective or our lens of how we look at people. And then people don't want to be around our plant anymore. People don't want to be connected to our roots anymore. So then that causes us to go through a whole nother change as well. Like, they don't love me no more. They don't want me no more. No, we got to go into the mirror. What did I do? What did I say? What could I have done differently? And sometimes it's the person too. I'm not saying it's always us, but just being mindful of what that looks like.
Absolutely.
Another part of that I was sharing was the foster care, being in so 2-parent household, 1-parent household, or foster care, or maybe not foster care, but it's not your mom, not your dad. That can have an effect on you too, because like, again, where's my mom? Where's my dad? I did a workshop a little while ago, and a older gentleman was sharing how he went through the system and he felt some type of way because everybody else was taking his siblings in, but they didn't take him in. He was like, I just wanted them to love me. I just wanted them to take me in. I was heartbroken. A grown man still dealing with something from years ago. And that's when we're talking about these roots, these different things that happen, the different environments that we're in, and how they do affect us, how they do mean something. People can brush stuff off and say, oh, it's all right, that's just a baby. No, they have feelings too, just as you. When you were a child, you didn't like when your mom, got you together. I
Right.
didn't like when she got me together. I didn't like when she told me I couldn't have what I wanted to have. We have feelings too. So really just having that mindset to look into that. I can't tell you how many other times I've had children from a residential saying like, my mom don't care, or she believed him.
Yeah.
She believed him and didn't believe me. Heartbreaking to children.
Very.
Or whatever it is that's going on, or they just can't get along, they just clashing and things of that sort. These things affect our seed. And we want people to grow, we want people to move on. But until we address that root, no, I didn't like how mommy did that to me. I didn't like how Uncle Johnny did that to me. Sorry if those are your names. I'm just throwing out names. Maybe I don't like how Uncle Juju. But and then what stays in our house, what happens in our house stays in the house. So then we feel we can't tell anybody. Let's talk about this safe touch, bad touch, good touch, things of that sort. Things that affect our roots, our seeds. And then we get upset because like, what's he doing it to somebody else? Because somebody did it to them.
Right. That goes back to that secret keeping too, right? When you keep in secrets, you're not allowing people the opportunity to be able to grow from their experiences, or to be able to nurture the trauma that they have experienced, to be able to heal that. And so if you're keeping things from people in a way to protect them, sometimes that is not the protection that they need.
Not the protection that they need. So really listening to find out what it is that they do need. So let's stay here for a second. Talk about that abuse that can go on: emotional, physical, mental, financial, things of that sort. This all happens in a household as well. And sometimes I've worked with families where there was a rape victim, and she was married, and she was having trouble of how to connect because of the experience. She wasn't sure, is this person going to do me right? Yes, I got married because I did love him. I felt like I went on this limited trust, but I still am dealing with the after effects of what did happen to me when I thought that the people that I could trust, when I thought that the people that did have my best interest in heart, when I thought that I was safe, I wasn't. So again, these are things that affect our roots. These are things that affect our seeds. And what are we doing to really address them? I was commending her that she was in therapy, suggested individual therapy along with the couple and family work that was being done, because we could come for family therapy. But if it's my issue, because it's happened to me, I can't put that on a family. It's not fair. I have to deal with it first before I can come to the family and say, all right, this is how I was feeling. This is what works for me, and how we can move forward.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. So then domestic violence. Let's talk about it. We're talking about these cycles and things of that sort of our seeds, the environments that we were in. They always cussing them out. Or the guy only hears the father cussing the mom out. So the guy feels like, when I get a mate, I got to cuss them out because that's how they're going to listen. I saw the interview with Tina Turner and Ike. And it wasn't Tina Turner and Ike, but it was Ike. And he was sharing that it wasn't until he hit her that she started doing what he wanted her to do. So what happened in her life? What was she brought around where she felt like, okay, now I have to do what's right? Because some people, you hit them, they're not going to do what's right. They're going to come back at you. But not everybody does that and things like that. Some people will be like, all right, let me get myself together. But then it kind of goes into another one we'll talk about, which would be like self-confidence and self-esteem. But like staying in this abuse piece of how those cycles do continue, the verbal, the emotional. You can't speak up for yourself.
Domestic violence is one of those things that's really like near and dear to my heart for a couple of different reasons. One of them is just because when I first started doing therapy work, I was working in a domestic violence shelter. And so those families, those women, those children really touched my heart, and they really kind of developed my goals in terms of becoming a therapist, right? But also while working in that setting, a domestic violence situation happened in my family, where unfortunately my mom was in a relationship, and the man who she was in a relationship with shot her in front of my sister and my grandmother. It happened at this point, as of today, 16 years ago. And it was something that for a very long time I blocked out. I didn't talk about. I never addressed it. My family didn't really talk about it. We kind of just went on with our lives, and we're thankful that they are both still here. And 2 years ago, for whatever reason, I started to feel anxious and scared and worried and grateful on this day. And it was a very kind of random way that it just kind of came about for me. But it definitely is something that still impacts me today, even though it was something that I kind of buried for a long time. And I like to say that it was because I wasn't ready to process it. It wasn't, I wasn't in a space where I could. And now that I am, my body was reminding me that this is still something you still have to deal with. This is still a place where you need to do some work. And so I have, and I've worked hard at, really being aware of and open to conversations and healing around this place. And today was one of those days where I yesterday and today I woke up and I was on the verge of tears and I didn't know why. And all of a sudden it clicked like, oh, today is that day.
Yes.
This is your body reminding you that there was a day where you didn't have any idea that it would change your life. And it did.
Right.
And so I'm just thankful that I have the ability to have the tools and skills and support to be able to kind of address this and for myself and talk about it, to let other people know that like, this is not your issue. This is an issue that happens to a lot of people, and it's not your fault. I think the biggest thing about domestic violence is that it's about power and control. And it because the person who is the perpetrator wants the power and control, then they do what they can to kind of shame you and blame you and kind of strip you of your hope. And so that they can have that power and control. And so this is not, your fault if you're in a situation like that. It is that the person who you thought loved you, the person who you thought was supposed to, care for you and protect you, took advantage of that love and trust.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. I like the piece of the burial. And again, the word seed. Sometimes you ever planted a seed growing up in school, they had you plant the seed, you put all this water and you're like, why am I seed not growing? Because sometimes it's not ready. It's not trying to bud because it has experienced so much. It's like, if I go out, I don't know what's going to happen. If I even do a glimmer of being some life here, I don't know what's going to happen. That kid's going to pour some more water. I'm not going to make it. And sometimes we bury it because we aren't ready to deal with it. I can't tell you how many things I buried. And then something happens. I'll be like, oh, wait a minute. When I put that Band-Aid on?
Yeah. It's coming off.
It's coming off. I thought I had covered that up, and it's in those moments that we have to deal with it. And it affects our seed and affects our environment. Because if we keep on putting that Band-Aid on it, eventually sometimes it can get to stinking. We'll snap at people like, what you doing? Get away from me. And the people don't understand what's going on. So again, we have to address it.
Yeah.
Whatever way that works for you. And share, it wasn't until I was an adult that I connected with my father. I moved back to Philly some years ago, 10, 11, 12 years ago. Yeah, because I was 10 when I moved back, 10, 12, 27. We'll see. I don't know. But I was working in South Philly. And when I tell you, I wasn't ready to deal with it. For whatever the reason, I would ride past his house because I worked in South Philly. 2 blocks about from this man's house. I'd ride past, keep on going about my business because I wasn't ready. And sometimes we want to force somebody to grow. Sometimes we want to force somebody to go back into the dirt. Sometimes we want to force somebody to take that water that you're trying to give them to help them to flourish. And they're not ready for it. You have to allow them the time and space. So it's really asking people, how can I support you?
Yeah.
What can I do to help you through this? And then when I finally was ready, I went over there. Had a fabulous relationship with him before he passed and things of that sort, but it wasn't until I was ready. And you got to do that for other people too. I was talking to another young lady. She didn't have a good relationship with her dad. And I just said, from my experience, when you're ready, have the conversation so you feel at ease, you feel at peace. Because had that man died and I still wasn't ready and didn't have myself together, we'd be having another conversation today.
Right.
But again, God's grace allowed it where I was able to have a conversation. But what I'm saying is, we do bury some things.
Yeah.
We do put a Band-Aid on some things.
Yeah.
We'll take the Band-Aid off, clean it, put another Band-Aid on that joint and say, all right, we good a little while longer. And eventually we still have to deal with it because it'll start coming out. It'll start seeping out of those around us. And it hurts. Every time we put that Band-Aid on, every time we taking it off, it hurts. But if we just let the air hit it. We don't got to worry about that sticky tape. That Band-Aid tape is strong. Not as strong as Gorilla Glue, but it's strong. And again, it causes some irritation things. So we want to be mindful of that. So
And I like what you just said about like you got to let some air get on it because things can't grow without air.
Can't grow.
So if you don't let some air get on it, you're not going to be able to grow. You're not going to be able to heal. And you're not going to be able to move forward.
Things die without air.
Yeah.
You know, you used to get the little pet and they was like, put some holes in the box. You don't put no holes. That thing might be dead by the time you open it up. You got to put some holes in there.
Right.
So burying, we got to, and it happens. Again, do what works for you. Our bodies have a alarm that we are unaware of most of the time that lets us know something's coming up. How I know? My mom's birthday, the day she passed, the day of her service, even sometimes. Holidays, just take it away. May, as much as I like this month because I was born this month, sometimes I don't like it because it's Mother's Day. Then it's the birthday. Then it's like, I don't want to be bothered.
Right.
Why? Because it's my seed, you know? Let's talk about that. You have to know what works best for your seed. You have to know if it's too much sunlight. You have to know if it's too much water. You have to know if you need a new pot. This is good. You got to know those things because if not, you're in the sun too long. You're getting burnt. You're drying out. Or you got too much water and you can't feel like you can't breathe. You can't get yourself together because it's too much water and drowning you. Or that pot is too small and you can't branch out. You ever had a shoe that was too small? Most uncomfortable feeling ever. But then you ever had a shoe that was too big? That's not comfortable either. You got to find what works for you. So, but you got to vocalize that. You have to communicate. You have to express that.
Sorry,
that's my soapbox. But I felt that was good.
Got
to put some holes in the box.
Listen.
So let's talk about some other things that affect our seeds. That social emotional piece. So we talked about the self-esteem. Different things we've been through could cause our self-esteem not to be where we would like it to be. You have somebody call you ugly enough time, you start believing, well, maybe I am ugly. You have people call you fat enough times, you're like, well, maybe I am fat. I like to say pretty hot and tempting, you know, that PHAT. You gotta have fun with it, but you also gotta do what works for you. Either you'll embrace that or you're gonna come back with something. Because they said sticks and stones will hurt you, but name sticks and stones will never. What is it?
Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words hurt me. There you go.
That's a lie. Words do hurt.
It is, yes.
But words do hurt. And depending who it comes from, if it's somebody that I trusted, somebody that I love,
touch you even more.
Something that I did. What? I'm what?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I've been in some relationships and the guy, they just said some stuff that wasn't as nice. And it was up to me to choose if my seed, if my root should still stay around the environment.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's interesting about self-esteem, right? Because the word literally means confidence in one's own worth, right? And a lot of times the esteem of self is built off of what other people see as the standard, they see as the level, they see as the expectation, right? We create our esteem of self on other people when the reality is it should be coming from you. It's called self-esteem, which means you create what level of esteem you want for yourself.
That's it. I gotta say, so I gotta say, I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. I'm that girl. I'm that chick. I'm beautiful. So when somebody tries to say you ugly, I don't know who you're talking about. I'm gorgeous. Okay. So again, it's what you believe about yourself. Because if they could come in and say something, that means we got a crack in the foundation. There's a hole. And we do want holes to breathe, but for this part, we want to be able to put up a banner to say, that's not who I am. We have to say, I am amazing. I am a queen. I am a king. I am beautifully and wonderfully made. You know, because people, again, that domestic violence, that verbal abuse, that emotional abuse, people are saying things because they're trying to hit at something. And until we have confidence in that area, we got to build our confidence in that. We talked about affirmations at the beginning of this year, moving forward with affirmations. We have to know who we are. Again, knowing what environment we could be in, what environment we can't be in. If I'm around somebody that's cussing all the time, after a while, like a cuss word to come to my head. I'm not a cusser, so I know that I gotta watch who I'm around. You know, the thoughts that come to our mind. Who are we around? I saw this post that said, you know, friends are important, but it's really who's around you. I actually just saw it today. Jeremiah had posted about how Jesus healed a man because of his friends' faith and belief. Do you got people around you that really believe in what you're going through? Do you got people around that can really go to hand for you, like, God, please work it out for them, and then God do it because of their faith? Who are we around?
And what messages are you letting come in and infiltrate the actual things that you value? Right? Like sometimes the messages that you hear and that you see and that people say about you start to create or start to devalue what you already believe about yourself. Right. So if you believe all these great things about yourself, but all day you're hearing you're not this, you're not going to be able to this, you're not going to be able to do that, you're dumb, you're stupid, you're ugly, you're fat, well, all these negative messages, then at some point you start to believe those and devalue what you believed in yourself in the very first place.
So good. We got to be careful. And these are things that, you know, our children go through as well. You know, the thought had come to mind about bullying and cyberbullying. And we see enough articles or, you know, reports to know that children are taking their lives from these situations or feeling inadequate because of these situations, or somebody's talking about their hair. It's not good. It's too long. It's this. And they're doing these different things. I never forget growing up, 52nd Street, and somebody was calling our house and they were playing on the phone. It'd be like after school time. And I don't know that I was the only one home, but I would answer the phone. And they would say some of the meanest, hurtfulest things ever. And they would just call faithfully. I don't know how many days it was, but I was just heartbroken. My mom would be like, what's going on? Man, one of them days, my neighbor, he sends other people around there. My mom would handle it, but she was sending it to me because her baby was crying. He answered the phone. He went in on that little kid. They ain't never called their house again. And sometimes when we are having a moment where we are feeling down, where those words are beating us up, who are we calling on to get that support?
Right. Yeah.
Because people make it seem like life is amazing, and life is amazing, but sometimes it's hard. Yeah. But we don't want people to be bullying and cyberbullying. And again, my benefit of the doubt comes in because I'm like, well, maybe they're doing this because X, Y, and Z. They'll be like, But if we truthful, we got stuff that we doing too. If somebody really shine the light on us.
Yeah. And thinking about the theme of like planting the seed, right? Sometimes the additional seeds in the plant can create decay in the leaves and the flowers and the, you know, whatever is growing, right? And so if you're putting yourself or surrounding yourself around people who are not aligned with the growth and the journey that you're on, then those people can sometimes create a negative environment which doesn't allow you to thrive.
Yes. Again, who are we around? We gotta be careful. And then the cyberbullying, the people just saying things like they don't even know you. You know, even emailing bullying happens too, because people be big and bad and tough on the other side, and then they send you something and they really ain't about their life.
Yes.
I was talking to somebody the other day. I was like, no, I calls. Too many emails go back and forth. Hey, yes, I got your email. I just wanted to follow up.
Yeah.
Because people be saying different things and they intimidate you and make you feel like you're less than.
Yes.
And these are ways that people disrespect you as well. So it's affecting your seed. Because if you take it there, then you sometimes take it other places. Or you take it out on somebody else. You know, sometimes it was a joke where it's like, they just always talking. I was like, are they married? It was like, they must don't get to talk at home. Or they always talking. Do they live by themselves? Oh, they don't hear anybody talk to. We never know people's situations or why they do some of the things they do. I worked one time, it was a guy, and they were like, if anybody was ever blow up this place, it would be them. I said, well, don't you think you should want to be their friend then if you feel like it's them?
Right.
You know, so again, getting to know people. I mean, within reason, within reason. Don't say Jennifer told me to get to know this person so I wouldn't get messed up. Within reason. But the thing is really giving people a chance and not judging that book by the cover, because you'd be amazed with the pages that fall behind whatever that cover is or what you see. And being careful what other people say, because they'll say, oh, no, that person's no good. But then my experience is they're amazing.
Right.
Prime example, I went to Honey Row. I love their salads. I give me a Cobb salad. It'll waste my heart. Give me a salad from Honey Row. And I was like, it's so great. But then I was talking to somebody else. I was like, oh, I don't like it. They got the stir fried. It was like it was too greasy. Same spot, different item.
Right.
And that happens. So we got to be careful.
Yeah. Recognizing that you can't take everything at face value, right? Like just because I say something doesn't mean that it's the right thing for you or that it fits for your situation. We can go through the exact same situation, but it may not work for you what I use, and what works for you may not work for me.
Absolutely. You know, when you say face value, I thought a $20 bill. You get a $20 bill. It may go further for you, but depending on the bill for that day, I go. You know, I got another friend. I was like, "Oh, gas is getting expensive." She's like, "I just spent $20. Whatever that $20 was, what it do." And I'm trying to fill up so I don't get stuck nowhere. So again, it's different for everybody. You know, your face value, their face value, different beliefs. Again, 10 cents could be a dime, 10 pennies, a nickel, 5 pennies. Is it 2 cent pieces? I don't know, but it's different ways you can get to that 10 cents. So again, being open to that. What's another one that affects us as our seeds and things? Our religious preferences. You know, there's a time that you believe God and they say yes, they're gone. So sometimes because of what we believe, who we believe has an effect. Or growing up, the children, as they learned their religion, the Muslim Islamic faith, you know, having learned their garment things. Other kids didn't understand, and sometimes they would say things. So then they would have to go back home like, Mom, they were saying blah, blah, blah. You know, they had a conversation for that parent to then build that child up. But this is the kicker of whatever the conversation is, whatever a child is going through. Do you have that relationship where they can come and talk to you?
Yeah, that's the biggest part. That's the biggest part. Like, do your kids feel like they have an opportunity to be speaking with you about the things that worry them, that scare them, that are uncomfortable for them, that, you know, they're not sure of, all of those things that really matters. Kids need to be able to feel like they have a safe space. And that also creates, that plants a seed that their opinion is valued, that the things that impact them are important to you, that their feelings matter to you. For creating that space.
And we don't do that enough. I think we get, you know, so hyped up in the society of keeping up with the Joneses or TikToks and Instagram and Facebook. And I know I've been there too, but eventually you want to be able to have a conversation with people. You want to really find out what's going on with them. Too often I'm taking in other people's stuff, but sometimes I got to let people take on some of my stuff too, because we don't have to carry it alone. But knowing who you can go to, that affects your seed. Who's your company? Who are your friends around you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do they really mean you well? Do they not mean you well? So it's a lot. Let me see. Everybody just said, as a parent, you should always have a safe space, and they can trust you to listen and not go off. Let's talk about that for a second. I was talking to this one young lady. She was heartbroken about a situation, and her mom was like, you know, that was her first love, or they were in love, or something like that, doing like quotes and things. We all was young before. We all had somebody we thought we was in love with too. And if something happened to them, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. Why? Because those were our feelings. That's how we felt in that moment. So we got to be able to listen. They got to be able to trust that you're going to listen and not go off on them, because we all been there, done that, made some stuff too. We got them t-shirts before your t-shirts came out, Therapist Tiff, you know? Because like we made some decisions that were good and weren't good. So again, we got to, the hope is that parents are creating an atmosphere. And if not the parent, who is creating that atmosphere? And are you okay with who they're going to? I had a friend the other day, she said, yeah, my son was talking to his grandma. But then it came back, and then they were able to have a conversation too. So that's the other piece too. Even if I do go outside of our square to talk to somebody, I still got to come back to you if you're the one I have the problem with.
Yeah.
If you're not, we're going to be spazzing. And then after a while, they ain't know why you spazzing. And they're going to come back at you. And we hoping that y'all still stay standing at the end.
And the problem still won't be there.
Right. Like Michelle said, do the parent create a space for the child to explore their relationship with God if it's different from them? That's a good one. The hope is that you do.
Yeah.
The hope is that you do. The hope is that you do. Children are going to believe what they want to believe. We're going to believe what we want to believe. We're going to do what we want to do. And oftentimes when you tell us no, it kind of pushes us to go ahead and do that thing. So we have to be careful with that. I had a conversation with someone the other day too about, or I don't know, it was just talking about a child, exploring their sexuality and things of that sort. And sometimes parents are like, no, at this house, we don't do those things.
Right.
When we tell a child,
okay, I'm going to do it outside the house then.
I'm doing it outside the house, or they're telling me no. So sometimes if they got that streak of that competitiveness, or they got a little bit more of you than you think, because you about that life and they about that life too, then they want to go tip and tat, and then you're arguing and things. So you have to find other ways to express what your thoughts are, but also to support them too. I was talking to somebody and it was like, I'm upset because why they da-da-da-da-da. Well, what's the environment that they're in sometimes? What caused them to think that way? And were you not around when they were thinking of things? And then they just explored it and said, hey, this is what I want to do. I don't know. That's not my path, but whatever's going through with them, I want to be there to support them through the process. I still want them to feel like they're loved. I still want them to know that they can come talk to me about anything that's going on. I still want them to know that somebody cares about them, because too many times they're shied away. We have like the shelters that take the children in because nobody wants them around because they're expressing themselves. And that's religion, sexuality, relationships. The Bible can say, I don't like that boy you talking to, girl.
Yeah.
That's who they like at that moment. It's something that boy is doing that's just bringing them sunshine. It could be giving them $5. It could be giving them $20. It could be telling them, you are beautiful. I'm staying with him because he's told me I'm beautiful.
Right.
We all been there. Y'all ain't never been with Bobo the Fool. Don't do that, chosen friends. We've all made some decisions that were not the greatest. And sometimes our children make those decisions. And we want to hold them at a higher standard.
Yeah.
When we did those things too. Right. I was talking to the kid, she was like, my mom was a teen parent. Why is she fussing at me? Instead, let's talk about how we can talk about safe sex.
Yeah.
Because children are going to have it. We're not going to lie. We did what we did. They doing what they did. If you didn't do it, God bless. However, we can't hold them to the standard when we was. So again, these are our seeds. And then it affects how we are growing, how we are talking, how we are communicating, how we're getting along with other people.
Yeah.
Her mentioned that first love loss. My daughter was 10 years old. She cried her eyes out. You know what? When you found out that JoJo like Susu and then like you no more, you was heartbroken. You had all of JoJo attention, and now JoJo don't want to be bothered with you no more. They want to see Susu.
The world is over. You're drawing broken hearts on all your notebooks.
And if you was a fighter, then you wanted to go handle Susu. But that didn't mean JoJo was going to come back to you. Let's talk about that too. Because sometimes we'll go to try to handle something, think that we're going to make it better, and then we create another big mess. Again, it affects our seeds, it's our roots. But it also giving people space, because we've all done something thinking that we was fixing it and messing it up a little bit more.
Yes. Yep.
What's another one? The school shootings, the community shootings. These are things that affect our seeds. Since this quarantine, more people have died than never died before. They said it on Brown. He said people is dying and ain't never died before. Again, because it's a little heavy topic here. So you gotta lighten it up. But more people have passed traumatic, stressful, overwhelming situations have happened. And with us being a little bit more stabilized, where we're not out and about, we're seeing it a little bit more, so that affects our seeds, because then we're fearful of where we're going. how we're responding to people. They're going in their regular stores. They're going down the street. They had a bad day. The coworker they thought did like them, or the person on the street they thought did like them, had a boyfriend. But I was buying you meals, and now you don't want to talk to me. So then we're doing these things. And again, this affects our seed. It affects our mental of how we then move forward in life. You know, you're fearful for, you know, our Black men to go out because like, are you going to make it back home?
Yeah.
If you do get in a situation, are you going to fall back and not be that, you know, it's hard.
Yeah, lots of secondary trauma there, lots of unresolved grief. And even at times when people don't even understand what's happening for them, you know, that they're just having a reaction to something, or they're having reaction to certain images that they're seeing, or you know, different posts that you're seeing on social media, and you're not really understanding why. But a lot of that is because you're not really allowing yourself to be able to connect to those uncomfortable and difficult emotions that you're feeling, and just trying to explain it away or keep yourself moving and not really delve into what really is happening for you.
And again, we're going to talk about some topics because the other week they made the ruling for George Floyd. And you're getting over or embracing what has happened, but still know that's not the end, because we got to find out what happens with the sentencing. But then you hear about another young lady being killed. I was like, geez, like, hold up. And you don't know the whole story around it, but the initial shock is like, what is going on in the world? Like, can we breathe and things of that sort? It affects our mental health. You know, the mind. You're like, am I going to be next? You know, the young man, he had a thing on his rearview mirror. I can't tell you how long I had like this little luau with a butterfly at the end on my mirror. I got in my car, I took it off. Traumatic. The cops passed you, not even trying to stop you. You never know what's going to happen. Is this a good day? Is this a bad day? What's going on? Is this going to be my time that I go? What? Can I see you? Am I going to see you? Get my life together before it does happen, things of that sort. It's overwhelming. It's stressful. And this affects our seeds. This affects our mentality. Are we having these conversations with our children, adults, friends? Because if I'm thinking it, somebody else is thinking it too. So like, what are we doing to bring awareness is the thought of to really help somebody, because their seed is trying to thrive, but it feels like it's no holes in the box. It feels like it's too much water. It feels like it's too much sun. It feels like I can't get out of this. So things of that sort. It's overwhelming.
It is, yes, it is. And if those seeds that are being sown are seeds that create negative responses for us, how are we using our supports and our networks around us to be able to maybe repot that seed in a different space, to be able to allow some nurturing and some growth there?
Yes. We're going to talk about that. We're putting up a lot of different things, but we're not going to leave you hanging at that. We're going to talk about, you know, how to cater to that, how to be of support to that. Another piece I wanted to share with the community students was the social media. And social media has this nice feature to say sensitive content. But the Jennifer and me sometimes be like, what's sensitive content?
Let me see it.
And I wish that I didn't hit it, because some things you see, you can't unsee. And it's great that, you know, they have like the different angles to help them to have the cases and things of that sort. But that doesn't mean that Jennifer got to become a detective to find out, oh, that's what happened. Oh, this. Oh, but what are they doing? Because your mind is overworking. You're stressed and things of that sort. I don't really watch the news for this very reason. From being in here,
me too.
I've seen enough stories to know what happened. But also being careful of that too. So again, you protecting your seed, you protecting your roots. I can hear some news today. I can't hear some news tomorrow. They're like, you know, the weather. You don't watch the weather? I got the weather app and everything, and sometimes I still forget. Jennifer Seed doesn't do well with that. It's too much. So having that conversation, and some of these children, they're doing these YouTube challenges and things of that sort, dying from doing these challenges. So really being careful of what our children are seeing, what the adults are seeing too, because some adults are doing these challenges too. To be able to support them through those processes.
And what conversations are you having with your children about, you know, what they're doing, what they're being exposed to? Do you know your children's friends? Are you able to recognize when they need, you know, a break from social media or from outside influences. Are you able to put boundaries and maintain them in terms of like taking electronics away and things like that? And then for adults, like where is your awareness about when things become overwhelming for you? Where is your awareness around needing to take that break for yourself from social media and from the news and the negative images that we see on a daily basis, and really sticking to that and finding other ways to occupy your time or to just care for yourself?
Yes, it's so important. I was at a friend's house. She was watching the George Floyd trial. After I had to put like headphones in and put some music on. I felt like Jamie Foxx when they were doing Django. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. And I can't hear. It won't work. No weapon, because that's secondary trauma. Hearing those people tell those testimonies over again, it won't work. I can't do it, because again, you have to know what works for you, how far you can go, what you can watch, what you can't watch. And then in some moments, my special self will watch a video or a court hearing and things of that sort. I was watching one of Botham Jean some months ago, and I was just watching a story of it. It was just heartbreaking to see these things. But again, it's at your pace, how comfortable you feel with doing it. Because even what's the babies, the Central Park 5 when it was on Netflix? Who's ever to watch that? Again, you have to know what works for you, of what you can see, how it affects you, how it affects you when you go outside your house, because you're not ready.
Yeah, and paying attention to like if you feel things in your body and you know how you're interacting with people after you are exposed to certain images or conversations or situations, and being able to be aware of whether those things are things you want to continue or you need to take a break from.
Absolutely. I'm gonna get some more questions. I said this story one time. I think it was like for the first video I ever did, because I saw my PTSD. Last year when like quarantine had first started and you're not really going outside, but you do have to go outside to get some groceries and things. One day I went to Walmart and I got my mask on. I'm in my zone trying to figure out which product I'm gonna get. And the little girl was like, "Are you gonna move or what?" I turned around. I wasn't ready. It was amazing me. I wasn't ready to bring around people, because at that time, a lot of different things had been happening in the stores, people being rude, disrespectful. She's like, "Oh, I was talking to her." It was worse than she was talking to her mother. Her mother didn't get her together. My mother would never. However, you got to know what works for you. And that told me, Jennifer, stay in the store, get something delivered to your house. Because it's not working.
It's not working.
Again, you have to know your triggers. You got to know. You got to know. So Michelle said, how do you suggest talking with your child regarding sexual assault or date rape? It's okay to say no, even if you thought you wanted to, but changed your mind. It absolutely is okay to say no, even after you first said yes and things of that sort. You want to go first?
I was just going to say, I think initially you got to try to assess the shame and blame around that situation, right? Especially in like date rape situations, there are times when the victim often blames themselves or has a lot of shame around it and doesn't want to talk about the situation. So figuring out if where they're at with the levels of those things, and being able to kind of help them process and walk through that and kind of dispel those concepts for them. Right? But I think overall, you have to show them support. You have to be there with them. You have to allow them to go through those ugly, uncomfortable discussions and stages and moments of isolation. You have to just show them that you're not gonna leave, that you're not gonna, that you're always gonna be there for them, and that you'll be there when they're ready to talk.
Yes. So Tiff has shared a little bit about if the child has experienced it. I want to talk about if the child hasn't experienced it. This is definitely a great conversation to have with your children, especially children that are about to be going away to college. Children are used to their area, their habitat. They know how to survive. However, you take them out of their habitat to a new area, it's like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on? This is different, things of that sort. And sometimes it's like being a visitor, tourist, in a different area. They know you're a tourist. Ding, 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 ding. They think they can get you and things of that sort. So you want to have the conversation of don't leave your cup unattended. Have that nail polish. They have the nail polish where if you put in a cup, you can know if it's something that's going to be in there. Really being with your friends. I went to Georgia for work a couple years ago. When I went to this spot because it was a jazz night, they had a saxophone playing. I was like, yeah, this is groove, But when it was time to go, another young lady that was there, she was leaving too. And we had been talking and things of the sort. I said, hey, we're going to leave together. We left together. We both made sure we got to our cars because one, we're single females. It's late at night. We're making sure we get there. So those different precautions. You got to go to the bathroom. We all got to go to the bathroom. Our drink's not done. We can't drink that no more. So really having that conversation as well as wanting to get that clarification. It's many shows out now that are saying, like, did you say yes? I like that they're doing it because that's the conversation you want to have. You want to know that the person did say yes, that it was consensual before you did move forward. And then there's sometimes where it said yes, and it was like, you got to think, like, do I really want to do this? Do I even like him? I need to do it. What I'm going to wear tomorrow? Whatever thought came to your mind. You was like, you know what? No, I can't do this. Now, if the person goes further, we have a problem and we want to address that. And again, we're hoping that we had that atmosphere where that child can say, Mom, it really didn't work out. Being careful of the fathers, because the fathers, they be curious about their baby girls and things like that. But still having that conversation because that parent coming to the rescue of that child is everything and allows that child to continue to come back to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still have those conversations. Again, because our children are doing different things. They're trying different things, even with drugs and things of that sort. The weed or whatever they're doing to get high. Some things have different effects. If you got other health things going on, it could be a conflict. It could be a trigger. You want to have that conversation with the children.
Yeah.
Everybody mentioned said, don't let them see that part. I'd pray and take a deep breath because it may be something that we really know and they won't come. I know how you feel. So I'm not sure if you were responding to I'm not sure what you responded to, Sunshine. Don't let them see that part. I pray and take a deep breath because maybe something that we really need to know why. Okay. All right. If you're going off, don't let them see that part. You can go off about something that your kid's telling you, but don't do that in front of them because you can mess up the whole situation. Michelle said, I'm trying to have every courageous conversation before she goes off to college. I'm scared. I can't get to her quickly, but I can't control the situation or keep her in a bubble. Absolutely. Thank you, Camille. She was responding to somebody. So yes, we can't keep these babies in a bubble. They're going to try different things. They're walking down the street. You can walk down the street and somebody, they smoking some, you're like, oh, somebody getting a little high. Contact, it's going to happen unconsciously, consciously. Try not to be a smoker. You walk past somebody smoking, you're going to inhale because that's what happens. It's in the atmosphere, it's in the air. But what you don't want to happen is for them to get into that situation and not know how to get out. Right. If they're walking down the street, I'll never forget. I used to walk from 52nd and Market down the Arch where I lived. And it would be a lot of people. I started walking funny, doing something different to try to make it feel like if they try to get me, it's going to be a hard time because she already ain't got herself together. But it was in my mind to do what I needed to do to protect me. They had the young baby who was kidnapped and he kept on singing every praises to our God. They dropped that kid off. What are you going to do if somebody picked you up? They got jokes about it, but it's serious. What are we doing to get ourselves out of situations? Do we have mace? Do we have pepper spray? Do we have like a little thingy, Jimmy thing to do to protect ourselves? Because life has changed. It's not how it used to be for some of us when we were younger.
Yeah. And I think too, we often kind of go to the negative when we're talking about planting seeds and things like that. And so I think what you also have to do is not only just prepare them for all the things that you don't want them to engage in, the things that they need to avoid, the things that, they don't need to put up with, not only preparing them for that, but also preparing them for the things that maybe can create positivity in their lives. Like, how do I know what good friendships look like? How do I know if a partner really does like me? How do I know if I'm in love? How do I know how to receive love?
How do I know, Tiff? How do I know? How do I know? Wait, sorry.
Well, you know what? I think that's a personal thing, right? Like
Absolutely.
but you can give your children and prepare them for, you know, what they're going to experience based on maybe your own experiences, maybe even the experiences of others around them, what you want to see for them, right? And allow them to have some opportunity to be able to be prepared for the good things in life and not just the worst situation that's out there.
Yes, that piece of how would I know, it really is that gut. If something feels off to you, something might be off. You got to trust your gut. I was watching a show, I was like, there's something about him. And then as the show progressed, he was a little joking. You know, trust your gut. Sometimes you really know, and sometimes they can turn around and surprise you. But that's how you do know the difference. But like, you know, how to embrace that you can reach for the highest star. You can soar. You can do it. Whatever it is, you can make it, and that you are there to support them through it. And again, it may not be the greatest idea sometimes. We didn't always have great ideas either, but we want to be able to encourage them. I always talk about the cleaner 409. It took them 409 tries to get to that, you know, line, and that's why it was called 409. But can you imagine that 200? Man, we shouldn't do this no more. No, we got to keep going at it. Again, you want to be able to encourage them till they get to that perfect version of whatever it is that they want to do. And then after 409 was created, they could come out with different versions as an extension of it. You know, Clorox has like the bleach, but then they had the wipes, then they had this. You come out with different versions of it. But once you get to what it is that you wanted it to be. So again, encouraging them, loving on them. The hope is that too, that we're doing, you know, that we're doing what didn't happen for us. Or doing some of the things that did happen for us. So like my mom was this for me, so I'll make sure I do that. But it was some things that I didn't like or whatever like that from growing up, or what I want to make sure from my experience. I don't want that to happen. So we're trying to be proactive. So you want to do that for your children. Show them love, give them encouragement, let them know that they are it, you know, and they can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah. And that your experience as a parent doesn't have to be what they aspire to. Right? Like you don't have to be like me. You can do whatever you want and be as creative as you want, be as, you know, courageous as you want in your goals, and I'm still going to support you.
Yes. And a part of the importance of communication, teaching them how to communicate with others, how to have healthy relationship with others. So like, how would I know? But they also can see that from your lifestyle as well. So seeing how you do treat their father, how you do treat that uncle, how you do treat your sisters and siblings and things of that sort. Children are dumb. They're always paying attention, but you know, we are that chalkboard. We are that living example that they see, and we want them to take some good grains from what it is that we learn. We want some good nutrients for their seeds and for their roots, so that they too can thrive and do all those different things.
And planting, like you said, their communication piece, planting the seed around the language that they use, right? And also the opportunity to be able to express themselves. You know, sometimes we have the tendency to shush kids, like just be quiet, go ahead, nobody care about what you're talking about. Reality is, when you do those kinds of things, that leaves them feeling like their opinion doesn't matter, or that their feelings don't matter. And we also have to teach our kids the right language to use to express how they feel. We can't just say angry, sad, happy, excited all the time. There's lots of different words in the dictionary that can explain how you feel, and those things translate also into what you need. Right. And so if we're not using the right words to describe how we feel, then you're not going to get your needs met in the right way. So we need to be helping our kids to understand that, and getting them into the routine of using the right language.
Yes. And not shying the kid away, because sometimes we call different body parts cookie or private, or whatever word it is, and things. And everybody doesn't know that you have a different code word and things like that. We don't want to shy away. We never know what they're telling us. They could be trying to get life saving. Like they might need their life saved. Can't get my word right, but you know what I'm saying. So we want to be careful that even friends and different people we talk to, we want to pay attention to what it is they're saying. Like, I'm just tired. I can't do it no more. Pause. Wait.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? How can I support you? What does support look like?
Right.
A friend of mine, you know, her mom just passed, and she was like, she didn't want to join the club. I'm like, sis, we wasn't even taking new members. but also finding out what support looks like for her, because if she
Yeah.
used to being there for everybody else, how can we be there for you? So now I was like, no, is it too much? Is it overwhelming, everybody coming over? She's like, a little bit. But then she said, hey, it's a little too quiet. She sounded the alarm. We know to come over and support. We don't got to be in the same room, but you know that we here if you need us. And that's the same instance of that, really communicating and listening to find out what it is they need. Because sometimes what I really need is just $1 million. Somebody want to give it to me? Okay.
I need it too, Jen. Look, when they bring it to you, tell them to bring it to me too. Where the bag at?
Yeah. You just gotta share what it is that you need. And sometimes they can meet it, sometimes they can't. I had a friend the other week, was going through something, and I called and was really just kind of be open and support, like kind of vibing off of them of how to support. Because sometimes we don't know what to say in situations, or sometimes we're too caught up in our stuff. If you're too caught up in your stuff and a friend going through something, don't call them.
Yeah.
It's not about you at that moment. You got to be there to support them. So how to really engage with them and things of that sort. The last ones that I had on the list was just talking about like housing, education, lack of education. We have some people that maybe can't read or don't understand things. These things affect our seeds. So the hope is that we're taking time to learn something new, to go back to school. They have a gazillion and one free classes that you could do. Housing, may have been homeless and things of that sort, may have bounced from house to house to house. You might be doing that. We got to get some permanency is what we call it across the world, the social service world, permanency, somewhere permanent for you to be. And then the survival skills that we learn and the generational issues, all these things affect our seeds. Good, bad, ugly. Sometimes it is good, sometimes it's not good. But really, I hope here is just to really try to encourage others that you can go above and beyond. And I'm building this up to pass off to Tiff because she's going to bring us home with it. But knowing that everything that we went through, it was a reason. It wasn't good all the time. That dirt wasn't comfortable all the time. It was dirty. It was muddy. Every time you tried to get out, you felt like you slipped back down in there. Or seeing somebody else and they're going through the same path that you're going, but they're doing a little bit better than you. And you're wondering like, well, what's going on with me? Like, man, upstairs, what's going on, But what are we doing to help ourselves in those situations? What are we doing that can help us to continue to grow from that? And I'm going to pass it to Tiff as she brings us in of how we can grow despite those situations, despite those, not so much despite, because some of those situations were good. We just didn't know how good they were. We had to deal with Juju and see that he wanted Susu instead of us because he really meant us no good. I saw a post today. It said that the girl was heartbroken because her boyfriend broke up with her. He's going to meet his new girlfriend and he's going to live with his new girlfriend in Baltimore. Turns out she had spammed or something like that, being another person. So he wasn't going with nobody. But again, these different things that happen, we find out if this person really means as well. Because if she was able to have a whole relationship with him as another person, be careful playing these games.
Listen.
Be careful playing games. But if she was able to have a relationship with a whole other person, he said, you know what, I don't want to be here no more. I'm going to be with this person. He was really invested. Yeah. And he wasn't invested where he was. Yeah. So we want to be careful of that. And mindful of that. Pay attention to our gut and red flags. Turn it to you. Go ahead, Tiff.
Yeah. So I just want to give, some quick tools about how to water your seeds and things that you can do to continue to nurture and grow, right? So one thing that I just want to put out there is journaling. Journaling is a great way to process your thoughts, understand your feelings, and make connections between your thoughts and your feelings, right? Mindfulness exercises are good to remind you to get connected to your present, to really sit and understand your feelings, right? Identify your support system. Who are the people you can go to? Who are those people in your tribe that you can trust a process with? Identify the sources of your negative images, reevaluate, limit, and block those sources out as needed. Identify activities that help you to self-soothe. Physical activity, taking a bath, listening to music, reading, getting fresh air. All of those things are self-care. Those are the things that kind of help us to like rejuvenate, reset. And so you need to be making sure that you're doing those things. Setting your goals, being realistic, and developing plans to be able to succeed and celebrate along the way. Making sure that your goals are based on what you want and not necessarily what other people expect from you or suggest that you should be having. Find a therapist to support you, challenge you, and encourage you along the way as you continue to heal, nurture, and grow your seeds. Affirmations, use those to reaffirm your positive thoughts and feelings and goals. And remember that struggling does not mean that you're failing. And then creating a safe space in your home, the place where you can do all the things that you need to do in order to be connected to, understand, and process your thoughts and your feelings.
Yes. All these are amazing.
And lastly, I just want to say, in terms of the theme of planting seeds, right? Just as the seasons change and you have the opportunity to nurture and repot and prepare for growth for your seeds over the next season in your life, you also get to decide how and if the seeds are ones that you want to see in the next season for your life, right? How you want them to show up. And so you get to nurture and heal the seeds you want to flourish and discard the ones that you no longer serve the purpose for your harvest. So making sure that you really pay attention to the seeds you want to continue to grow and letting go of the ones that no longer serve your purpose and align with your goals.
I'm in agreement, Camille. Struggling does not mean you're failing. Doesn't mean you're failing.
It doesn't.
We always have a moment where we didn't knock it out the park. But if we keep on going, keep on trying, there's always a time where something goes a little over. Or you kept your lights on a little bit more than you thought that you needed. The bill was a little bit more. You didn't budget for it and things of that sort. It kind of cut into another budget that you have for something for yourself or your savings and things of that sort. It doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
But we create bumpers to help us to continue to go forward with that. Again, that journaling, talking to somebody, seeking that support. I went to see a new doctor the other week, and I was asked questions like, how do you like her? Is she good? She going to do me right? And then when she came in, I still was interviewing her. How's her bedside manner? When you look for a therapist, do those same things because you're trusting them with your life to really help you get out of some situations, to really help you clear your vision, to be able to see some situations clearly. To know, is this person really for me? Does this person mean me any good? Do I mean myself any good? What am I doing to maybe sabotage my own self? So really just identifying what works best for you, helping you to be the best version of you that you can be, and being honest with yourself. I love man in the mirror. I'm starting with the man in the mirror because when you go in that mirror, you really see like, oh, this is what I really do look like. Oh, where did this come from? What is this? Is this okay? Do I need to get this checked out? We have to have that conversation with ourselves, but then reach out to those that we feel that we can trust. Reach out to those that we feel will hear our heart. Because sometimes we're sharing things and it's not to tear anybody down. It's just how we're thinking, how we're feeling, and that our feelings do matter. I was telling somebody, they was like, I'm going through, but no, your feelings still matter though. Embrace that. Have that moment with them. Because if we let it slide, we'll feel like it's okay, but we can't do that. We want to be able to address things as it happens. Because if not, that Band-Aid, you talk about that Band-Aid, or if it comes off and then mess get in there, you got to clean it. You still got to deal with it. So we can't hide, but for so long we can't. We can hide, but we can't do it for so long because eventually something's going to happen that causes us to say, let's put this light on it. So I do hope that you took heed to the tools that she shared, that struggling does not mean you're failing. I don't know if she shared our theme, our key phrase, key word of the night.
Oh, I forgot to do that. It's growth.
Oh, got it. But I thank you so very much. Because this is what it's about. I want us to grow. We have all been through different situations. If you didn't find yourself in some of the topics that we talked about tonight, whatever your it is, you too can grow from it. You too can continue to thrive from it. Yes, it happened, but that does not define who you are. I remember my first message at my church. It was, yes, you know my story, but that's not how it ends. And I talked about Paul and how Paul was always, ready to kill the, Christians and things of that sort. But he changed his life around because he didn't want to be that person anymore. So whatever your it is, if you want to change from it, you don't have to be that anymore. And we are here to support you, to guide you through that process. People may believe or not believe, but guess what? I believe in you. So reach out if you need somebody to check in with you every so often to make sure you're on the right path or the path you want to be on. Or bounce ideas off of. Find out who can help you because we want to help you too. And Tiff, got a business. If you need therapy, reach out to her. I'm always sharing resources of therapists as well. So again, talk to somebody if you need to.
Yeah.
Okay? It's help. mental healers, mental wellness.
Yes.
That's what we're about.
Yes.
And you gotta grow. You can't grow if you're too boggled down in your brain, too boggled down with thoughts of defeat, low self-esteem,
Mm-hmm.
others' esteem, because it's not our
Yep.
esteem. We forget about that. All right. So
Yeah.
again, I encourage you all. I love you all. Thank you so much for joining us, Tiff.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm gonna be looking out for my bag.
Coming in June.
Got it. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. So again, thank you so very much. Tonight we had. Thank you again, Tiff. Talk to you later, girl.
All right.
So tonight we had planting seeds with Therapist Tiff. Yo, I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hold on, I'm on the wrong screen. Wait a minute. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Grow. That is the word. I want us to grow. So we got a day of empowerment coming up. On Saturday, May 15th. That is my birthday weekend, friends. Let me show my face. That's my birthday weekend. What I want for my birthday? For y'all to buy a ticket. Thanks. But if you don't buy a ticket, please put in the comments what the theme word was of today as you check out this promo for it.
Chosen Counselors presents a day of empowerment. Join us on Saturday, May 15th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. virtual as we will inspire, motivate, empower, and strengthen all attendees. Topics include self-care, parenting, healing, singleness, business, dating, married life, burnout, and more. Special guests include Christian Mills, Todd Davis, Sherry Thompson, Marquise Coates, Tiffany Wilson, Bob Fleming, Sierra Brown, Maurice Williams, and Dr. Ulysses and Shanika Pratt. Planning to attend? Visit eventbrite.com, search Chosen Counselors, and select the link to purchase your tickets today. So join us on Saturday, May 15th for a day of empowerment. Be sure to mark your calendars and tell a friend as this day of empowerment is brought to you by Chosen Counselors.
It's going to be good. And guess what? We have a winner. Nicole, you have won a ticket to a day of empowerment. I'm going to give away another ticket. If you could comment below what I said I want for my birthday, you may get a ticket. Let me know. So what else I have for you? Don't forget our quote of the day. They buried us, but they didn't know we were seeds. That was a good one. They buried us, but did not know that we were seeds. That was so good. Lisa, yes, that's what I want for my birthday. That y'all buy a ticket to a day of empowerment. I'm gonna work someone else out for you. You're a board member. How you gonna get a ticket? For us to buy tickets. Yes, Camille. I'm gonna give you that ticket. So yes, Urban Evangelist to buy I'm gonna give you a ticket too, because you have been a faithful supporter of Urban Evangelist. So Camille and Urban Evangelist, you two also have a ticket. Buy a ticket. To those that don't have one, I mean, I may have a couple more because we almost there. Can y'all believe it? We're in May. Oh, my geez. Okay, so I told y'all the quote of the day. Don't forget that. So we have this day of empowerment coming up. It's for females and males, all of us alike. But guess what? I can't leave out the babies. So if you want to support, we are going to host a day of hope. It's going to be for our young people, 12 to 21, and all that fun jazz. So if you know somebody, it's going to be held in August. I'm in the process of starting planning meetings. We have some amazing organizations and individuals that have come together that want to be a part. And I'm so excited because guess what? We want to hope and encourage. We want to give hope, encourage, and inspire our youngins to know that they can make it too. Tonight, we talked about some things that span from childhood to adulthood to childhood. Life happens. It can be overwhelming. And we want to make sure that we are meeting the need of all individuals and families. That's our mission. So we got to do it. Be sure to join us on next week as we will have Crystal Collinson. And we're going to talk about watering the garden. Watering the garden. What you put in your garden? We're going to grow. This month, we're going to grow. Hope y'all paying attention. Be sure to tell a friend, like, comment, share, and things of that sort. Thank you all that do like, comment, and share, comment, and things of that sort. Thank you all that do watch and support. I truly, truly appreciate it. Again, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so be sure to check on your mental health. Find out, do I need to talk to somebody? We talked about that before. Doesn't mean that, something is going on and things that, so you might just want to check up. Sometimes you take the car. I feel like I hear something. I'm not sure. Go get a checkup if you need it. Find somebody to talk to that can really help you sort through some things. Because guess what? I care about you and I want you to be good. So can you do that, please? Thank you. All right, so that's everything. I told you about the quote, told you about Day of Empowerment, gave away some tickets, had a phenomenal time with our guest Tiff. You are a seed. If they bury you, you still a seed and you about to grow. Why? Because I want you to, and you want to do it too. So until next time, I love you all for real.